Hello everybody, I'm Ralph from Supermetrics, and today I will show you how you can use your GA4 data to create a user journey visualization in Looker Studio. All right, you ready? Let's get started. So what is user journey visualization? It is a visualization that shows you how your users navigate your website. Where do they enter, where do they exit, and where do they walk in circles. And to make this a little bit less dry, we have created a Looker Studio template for you. So we're using a very small website here. As you can see, there are only 106 page views over a period of maybe like 2 weeks. And it shows basically where people entered the website, that they navigated to a site, and from there they returned to the home page, and eventually they continued. So this gives you an idea of how people navigate through the site. And then you can do a couple of things. For example, you can start filtering. You could say you don't want to have this page and this page, and the chart would just generate like a new layout. And you can also link, increase, or limit the amount of segments in your chart. And of course, the more segments you're showing, the more it's going to look like a spaghetti. That's why it is recommended to keep this number as low as possible and to concentrate only on the main flow of your website. Okay, so this is the visualization. Now let's see, what do you need to create your own user journey? First of all, we're going to look at the data requirements. Then we will look at how you can bring your data from GA4 into BigQuery, because we will need BigQuery for this. Then we will look into unnesting the data so that it can be used in Looker Studio. We will go back to the chart and try to configure it with the data that we created. And I will walk you through the template so that you can use your own visualization. At the end of the session, I will show you a larger use case. And we also will have a quick glance at the sunburst diagram that is coming with the user journey visualization. What are the data requirements? Well, first of all, we need a page path or a title, so we know which pages the users have visited. Then we need a session ID, because we want to visualize sessions. And we need an event order, and now we also can use date time value for this. If you want to filter, if you want to use the chart as a filter, then you will also need a calculated field, but we will come to this later. In terms of metrics, you only need record count. You could use any other metric that you have available, but record count is what we're using today. And as we've been seeing, we've been using a parameter to control the amount of links that are shown in the chart. This is the link limit that you can use to dynamically adjust the number of links shown. So how do we get the data from GA4 into BigQuery? So we're not going to go into details here, because there are many resources available that show you how this is done. So in your GA4 interface, there's a section called BigQuery links, and from there you can basically configure your export of your data export into GA4. At the bottom of the page, you will find a link to the support articles that explains everything into detail. Once you have set up your export from GA4 into BigQuery, 24 hours later, you will get to this kind of view. And as you can see, we have something that is called nested data. And this kind of data is not really useful in Looker Studio. But what we also have, we can see that everything that we need, that we just discussed, is available in this data. We have a timestamp, we have the location, and we have the session ID. So how do I get this data so I can use it in Looker Studio? To make it very easy for you, we created an SQL query that you can actually copy paste directly into Looker Studio, if you go into your BigQuery connector and you have like a custom, you can have a custom SQL query, you could paste this code in here. You will find the code, this SQL query, you will find it in the template. What I did, I created a view with this data, and then I executed the view in BigQuery, and basically what we can see is that everything that we need now we have in table format the way it is required in Looker Studio. So we have page title, session ID, timestamp, and two types of timestamps. I will explain later why I have like two versions here. Then at the end, we also need the chart. So how do you get to the user journey chart? I invite you to visit the Supermetrics charts homepage. You will find the link in the slideshow. And then you scroll down where you find a section available chart types. In there you will find a little tile that's called user journey. If you click on it, you will get to the demo report that also contains everything that you need to know about the user journey. So like how to style things. There's another description again of what we talked about, what data that you need. So everything is in here. And you will also find some examples what you can do with it. In this report on the homepage, you will find the manifest path, and this manifest path you can use to insert the chart in Looker Studio. If you have never done this before, there's a link on this slide how to set up a chart for the first time that you can use. It will show you how to do this. Okay, so then we should have everything that we need available. So let's just go back into our template, and what I will do now, I will just move this over here just a little bit so we don't lose it. And I have already inserted this chart first time, so I can just do a second time. And if I drop this chart for the first time and we wait until the visualization is there, you will see that this is not really what you want to have. So let me just make this a little bit bigger. And as you can see, we have a page name. It automatically selected event date type. But this is not what we want. And what I'm going to use is I'm going to use the page path. This is actually a calculated field, but I will show you later. Then this looks already much better. Then instead of the user ID, I want to have the session ID because we want to see how people navigate through the sessions. And for the event time, I want to have the date time as a string. I also wanted to have a filter here so that we only get certain URLs. And as you can see, it looks already quite similar to what we have. So now the link limit we can also insert, so we can it will dynamically react to the limits. So let me just see where I can find this. It's here. I can drag it over. So the chart will react to the link limits that we have done before. So now there are a couple of more settings that are in the style settings. I will not totally recreate this now. I will just copy this chart, and then I can do a paste, special paste style only. And as you can see, now I recreated the exact same chart that we had on the right side. If you want to know exactly what you can do in this chart, I invite you to look at the demo guide. There's really nice stuff. You can basically say, I want to create like an entry page, so it's a lot easier for you to say to see where people enter the web page. You can do the same thing with the exit page. So there are many ways to customize this chart. All right, I think I can delete this now, and I will bring back this visualization here so that your template is like before. Let's just go through a couple of more pages here. See, there's one thing I told you that you have to use a calculated field for the event order. This is because there's a little bug in Looker Studio right now with community visualizations that when date time is loaded the first time or passed to the visualization, it's losing the time, which means that the order is not right. I just give you an example. I just selected one single session, so where a user went from about to the about page to the home page and again to the home page. So basically what we did here, I am using here, and I can show you here as the event date time. I converted the date time dimension into a string, and the visualization is correct. We come from the entry page to the about page. We go once in a circle. The user then went to the home page, walked once in a circle, and went then to the exit page. If you look at this visualization here, I'm just using straight event time, and it's just it's the wrong way. It shows me that the user first went to the home page and then to the about page. It's the same thing if you use a timestamp. It works when your timestamp was converted into something numeric. If you have a numeric timestamp, if you use a timestamp that looks here like a date, the first time you load your graph, it will be the wrong direction. So very easy. You just take your date time dimension and you convert it into a string, and it will work properly. Your BigQuery data, like the view that I told you that you can use, is basically here. So you can copy paste this query, and the only thing you have to do is you have to insert like your project number and your dataset name. On the fourth page, I also have listed all the calculated fields that you can use. So to get rid of the domain name, and to get the page path, you can use this calculated field. If you want to just have the top level path, because eventually you don't want to go into every detail, you don't want to know to which exact page a user was visiting, you just want to see what's the top level section they've been. There's a calculated field for this. I will just show you an example on this later. And then here is the calculated field, how to convert your date time dimension into a string. And at the end, if you want to use this visualization as a filter, which we will do later on, then you have to create another calculated field that combines the session ID with your order or the time dimension, because right now Looker Studio cannot filter on two different dimensions at the same time, so we have to connect them together and then drag them into the chart. So this is basically everything you need to know to create your own visualization. I hope this was clear. I just wanted to give you show you like one more example. So this is a subset of our of the data from Supermetrics, and it's just used. So like we have like a it's only like this is one day, so there are like 10,000 page views that have been used through more than 5,000 sessions. So even with a high number of page views, this visualization is still doable. I would be careful about putting in like more than 10,000 page views. It might be that the visualization slows down a little bit. It's also a lot of data to load. So one thing that's really nice here, you can actually also just look into one single session to see how people actually, or like how a single user walked through the site. And just look at this one here. It might take a little bit of time. So you can basically see that the user started at the about page, and then it's not quite clear what he did first, if he went to the blog first or to the home page, but you can see where the user stayed a little bit longer. And of course you can also create select like multiple segments, or you create some segments, and then you can basically compare like either countries or depending from which source people came, and you can see a little bit what is the behavior of the users when they visited your website. Now there's one more thing I wanted to show. It's the sunburst diagram, and I just gonna go quickly to the demo guide I talked to you before. Like if you go into examples and if you look at the sunburst, there's a link to a video from Carrie Rodden. She was using the sunburst diagram, I think it's over 10 years ago now, to analyze how users used the YouTube website to look at different videos. And this is like a really very interesting story that I invite you to discover. And I just show you what's happening here on the Supermetrics website. So basically what we can do with this sunburst diagram, we can see where people actually, what sections that people look at. And I talked before that I'm using just the top level segment. So I'm not really looking into pages. I just look at top level segments. So basically, like most people, we can see they start with a blog page. And then a lot of people, they start on the home page, and then they start on the product page. And then it gets more interesting because I can see that people that like 3% of all visitors, they start with a blog page, and then they continue on the blog page, and the third page they visit, it's still a blog page. And we can also see that people that come into the home page, well, the next step they usually take, and this is like 3% of all sequences that we have on our website, it's the pricing page, and then they look into another pricing page. And so I can basically really see how people at large in volume, how they use the website. And of course, there are many things that you can configure in the style panel. For example, I said here that I only want to have 40 segments, but I can also increase this to 100 segments. And then, as you can see, everything gets there are a lot more segments available here. I can also click on these segments, and what this will do, it will filter this chart here that gives me a little bit of an overview of what I'm looking at, and so I can basically drill down into my data, and I could also have a table on the same page, and I can actually see what's happening on this thing. People that went like that looked at 3 blog pages. Where do they come from? What other properties they have attached to. All right, I hope you liked this session. You can use your GA4 data now to all these beautiful things. And if you want to have like a full version of Supermetrics charts, go to the homepage, and this is available now in source code mode. So enjoy your reporting, and see you soon.